why the Jews and the Christians were not happy with Prophet peace be upon him. The Prophet peace be upon him was sent as the mercy for all mankind. Out of his genuine concern for others, he wished to save as many people from misguidance as he could. That's why Prophet peace be upon him convinced the deniers, and he was especially lenient and gentle with the people of the book. In verse number 120 of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs Prophet peace be upon him that their unhappiness and denial is not due to the lack of convincing and arguments and proofs, but their denial is due to their pride and arrogance. Because each of the two groups, the Jews and the Christians, they believed that only they were rightly guided. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarifies that the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to Muhammad peace be upon him is the true guidance, and that is the straight and perfect religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in verse number 120 of Surah Al-Baqarah, "The Jews and the Christians will never be pleased with you until you follow their faith. O Muhammad, tell them, Allah's guidance is the only guidance, and if you follow their desires after the knowledge has come to you, then you would have against Allah no protector or helper." The meaning of this ayat is that the Jews and the Christians will never be pleased with you, O Muhammad, until you follow their practices and beliefs. And that is the real cause of their unhappiness, that why you don't adopt hypocrisy and corruption in the religious matter, and instead you stick to what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfill his commandments. So they are not going to follow you, and rather they wish that you follow them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs the Prophet peace be upon him that there is no likelihood of pleasing either of them until and unless he accepts their religion. Therefore, do not seek what pleases or appeases them, and stick to what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by calling them to the truth that he sent you with. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Verily, the guidance of Allah is the only guidance," meaning Islam is straight, perfect and comprehensive religion. The earlier religions have been distorted. All of the prophets that came before Prophet peace be upon him, like Prophet Jesus, Prophet Moses and Prophet Abraham, all of them called its people to worshipping only one Allah, only one God, and to not associate any partners with him. In each era of the prophets, the message was the same. The message was to believe in one God, in one Allah. But later, people distorted their religion out of shape, and they followed their desires and they created their own forms of religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not instruct anyone to become a Jew or a Christian. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent just one religion for his creatures, and that religion is Islam. Islam is the only religion Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ever sent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in verse number 19 of Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Indeed, the religion in the sight of Allah is Islam." And what is Islam? Islam is the name of submission and obedience to only one Allah, because only He created us. So only He deserves our worship and obedience. And whoever obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worship Him, he is the guided one. That's why in verse number 120 of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Prophet peace be upon him to say them in plain and simple words that the guidance of Allah is the only guidance. Now in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it clear that Islam is now the only form of guidance that is acceptable to him. Then onward in this ayah it is said, "And if you were to follow their desires after the knowledge has came to you, then you'd have against Allah neither any protector nor any helper." The ayah implies that they will never be pleased with Muhammad peace be upon him unless he followed their desires. And who follow their desires will have against Allah no protector or helper. No doubt, Prophet peace be upon him would never follow their religion, because Prophet peace be upon him will never displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Quran confirms that Allah is pleased and will always remain pleased with Muhammad peace be upon him. This ayat has warning for us, for Prophet peace be upon him ummah, that if we follow their desires, that if we follow their religion, then we will have no protector or helper against Allah. We should not imitate the ways and the methods of the other religions. We have our own religion, we have our own sunnah. So we should study the religion Islam and the book Quran and sunnah. We cannot follow any religion. We should follow the religion that is sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of us, for all of mankind.